Good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Ryan Ross here, President and CEO of the Urban Leadership Foundation of Colorado, and I'm excited to be doing another edition of Candid with the Candidates. It's our opportunity to sit down with individuals from the community. Before we get into their policy, before we get into their platforms, we want to get into who they are, right? We want to understand who they are as people so you can meet them and then go do further research and make great decisions about who you want leading us in the community. And so today I'm excited to be sitting with Reid Hettich, who is a community leader, community activist, pastor, has been in this community nearly 15 years and has decided to put his name in the hat to run for office. So Reid, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for this opportunity, Dr. Ross.
Yeah, and so these conversations are fast and furious. We got about 15 minutes, so we're just going to jump right in and tell us a little bit about Reid. What should people know about you?
Well, I've lived in Colorado now for 40 years, but in Northwest Aurora, Ward 1 for the last 15 years.
Okay.
And have always cared about people.
Yeah.
You know, people has always sort of been my business. And it seems like something that's developed in me is noticing people that are sometimes ignored or overlooked, marginalized people, and wanting to serve and help them achieve their full potential.
Yeah.
And so it sort of drew me to Northwest Aurora. Is an amazing place, filled, one of the most diverse places in the United States. And it is filled with just fascinating people, full of potential, that are overlooked, marginalized, ignored, discriminated against, all those things.
Yeah, and so outside of the amazing diversity in Northwest Aurora, and Aurora in general for that matter, what should people know about Aurora? What's, if there's a superpower in Aurora, what is it?
Well, and I think one of the things that, and I was pleased to actually hear some of our city leaders phrase it this way, that diversity is our greatest strength. Sometimes they say it's one of our great strengths, but they're saying is our greatest strength. And I think from my background, I grew up on a farm in South Dakota where everybody thought the same, looked the same, did the same things, certain expectations, that in Aurora and in Colorado in general, you can think a little bit differently, you can look differently, you can have different kind of backgrounds. And I think we're coming to understand, and especially in Northwest Aurora, we're coming to believe that that is a strength. That is a good thing, that we are different and have different experiences and have different ideas and won't always agree, but to realize that we have to have some sort of respect for each other enough to work together to solve some of the problems and challenges that we have.
Yeah. So you have, you're no stranger to Aurora. I've witnessed you as a citizen, participate in things from citizen oversight with, law enforcement to homelessness to feeding folks to youth initiatives. I mean, you've been serving the community for a long time, not even speak to what you've done from a pastoral perspective.
Right.
Why? Why have you been so involved in community? What is it about people? If there's a calling or whatever, like what is it?
Well, I think my parents get some of the credit for training me and teaching me a certain kind of way, that if you saw a need, you didn't sit and complain, that you rolled up your sleeves and got to work and tried to do something about it.
Yeah.
And then I think seeing people, seeing people that are hurting or discouraged or ignored just doesn't allow me to sit back and watch that. And again, I've always been a bit more of an action kind of person rather than just make a big fuss about it or talk about it or protest it. Let's figure out a solution. Let's get to work at it. Yeah. And I think one of the things that I've done maybe too often is actually get involved personally rather than helping and leading others, and for community to get involved to solve some of those kinds of issues.
Yeah, and so it's funny that you say get involved personally. One conversation that I'm having with a lot of leaders right now, and it's kind of a buzz topic, right? It's that self-care thing, right? And so for someone who's saying, hey, maybe I've gotten involved personally, maybe too much, you're about to do the ultimate personal involvement and run for office. Why? Why would you do that?
And my wife asks me that question every once in a while, so I'm well prepared to respond to that. It seems like we are at a unique moment in Aurora, and especially Ward 1 in Aurora, where there are some incredible challenges. There's some really hard things that are taking place. We have some real struggles economically, some boarded up businesses. Some of our big businesses, Walmart and Walgreens, have moved out of the area. And so there's some real challenges there. And part of the reason why they moved out of the area was the reality of crime, or the perception of crime and public safety issues. And so there's some real challenges that we have there. And at the same time, there are some incredible opportunities to address some of those challenges. Right now, the city is engaging in a way that I haven't seen them engage before, where they've brought in a consultant to help set up a downtown development authority, talking about a community building corporation, talking about really engaging and investing in those kinds of things. There are a couple of parcels of land in which the city is interested in developing, and there is, the Aurora Urban Renewal Zones. So there's all of that taking place in Ward 1.
Right.
And there's great opportunity there, but many times in the past, those opportunities really weren't seized. They weren't really grabbed onto. And you miss out on those opportunities, and the city almost gets the impression that people in Ward 1 aren't going to engage. And so they can do whatever they want to. And they're the experts, and they will do this, and they will figure this out. This time it feels different, where there's people in the community who are saying, this is our chance. This is our shot. This is our community. We're going to step up and do something and lead this effort and develop the kind of community that we want rather than what somebody else wants.
Yeah. So speaking of people being engaged, right, one of the things that has happened over the years, and, I think it's a fact, but it's probably more opinion, is that policy and legislation has happened to people and not with people, right? And so what's your take on that? And as you go down this journey and attempt to become an elected official, how would you address that? What would that look like differently under your leadership?
Well, I think I would deal with it differently because I've been some of those people,
right?
And I've seen that, and I've been a part of that over and over again. And so I think I can spot that, and I can see that. And for the most part, now this is always the case, but for the most part, I don't think city leaders or government leaders want to do that. But it's easier. I was in one meeting several years ago now, in which there was a consultant that the city had hired to come in and do some zoning stuff and replanning certain parts. And I asked them, I said, do you feel like you have gotten the right kind of community input and engagement, around this project? Because they were announcing the results. They weren't asking our opinion at that point.
Okay.
And the actual response I got from the consultant was, we have fulfilled all the legal requirements in reaching out to the community. Which, in essence, they were saying, no, we don't have it. But
they brought in 10 people, representative of a disc code.
We've done the token things that we're required to do, and here we are, and it's going to be good because we're smart. And we just can't keep doing that because, and sometimes my neighbors, and sometimes I have been guilty of not speaking up, not being engaged, and the city will ask for engagement and people don't step forward. And sometimes because they don't think it's going to matter, or they're not going to be heard, or whatever reason. But we have got to do better as a community as well, of stepping up and saying, no, we want this different. We don't want our community to be gentrified. We don't want somebody to come in and scrape blocks and put up shiny new things and price people out of their community.
Right.
That's not what we want. And we're going to speak up, and we're going to fight for the kind of community that's different and unique and a little bit eclectic, and where everybody, the people that live there get benefit from improvements or developments, and we do that together.
Actually last night I had the opportunity to go to a town hall meeting sponsored by the NAACP, and they brought in Congressman Crow. And he spent an hour talking to community. And I was sitting with one of my colleagues, and I was looking around the room, and I was like, wow, right? This room looks very experienced, right? And what I mean by that is,
I know what you mean by
know what
that.
I mean, right?
Yes,
Like I'm just saying, I didn't see a person besides myself and my colleague under 50, right? And so I just was like, I'm like, wow, what does this mean, right? And what do we need from leadership to change the engagement in the political process? How do we get, emerging and arriving leaders to participate, to care, to vote? Just in general, what are your thoughts on that? And,
well, first of all, us old people have good ideas too.
Absolutely.
So don't discount that.
No, I don't at all.
No,
I don't.
But no, I notice those same kinds of things.
Yeah.
Because, again, I think you get to a certain point in your life and you realize, I'm not the answer.
Yeah.
In fact, it's my generation that's screwed things up mostly. We're in the bad stuff that's taking place has been the result of my generation. That if we don't get new generations of leaders that think in new and creative ways, that don't think in better ways, then we're doomed to keep on doing the things that we've been doing all these years.
Right.
And so I think, we have to engage younger leaders. And my experience is there are younger leaders that will engage, but they have to. It has to be meaningful engagement. They're not going to show up and put up for something that we've been here 100 times before, and there's token words said, and people act like they want to hear from us, but it's not real.
Yeah.
They can see through that stuff maybe better than my generation did, and we've got to allow them real opportunities to sometimes make mistakes, sometimes do things in a clumsy way. And have their backs. Let them learn and grow in that kind of way. And that's something that was really important to me personally.
Yeah.
And I want it to be important as, I take this next step on city council, where we find ways of engaging young leaders and allow them opportunities to really learn and grow and really be part of the change that we need to have.
Yeah. So magic wand time, right?
Okay.
So most shows like this have a game, right? So
Yes.
I don't know if this is a game, but magic wand time. You're in office, you get elected, you have one initiative that you can change, and it can only be one. You've got the magic wand to make it look however you want it to make it look. What is that one issue you addressing, and what is the solution?
So I think the one issue would be around economics. Our community is one of the poorest in the state of Colorado, but it's filled with people that are incredibly ambitious, incredibly hardworking, entrepreneurs, and people that are willing to do what it takes, and they're smart enough, they're committed enough, but sometimes they haven't had the opportunities or known about the opportunities that actually exist, and I would love to be able to build a group of young leaders that started businesses, that started nonprofits, that rejuvenated, teaching ranks and the police department and all the systems that are there, that there would be a new generation of business leaders, community leaders that would be raised up and empowered to live and act and take control of our community.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I told you this time would come fast and furious, and I want to take a moment to just say thank you for putting yourself out there to run for office. It's not as easy as it may seem. Some people think, get some signatures, put my name on the paper and run. But, there's a lot of sacrifice that comes with that. There's a lot of giving of yourself and a lot of putting things on your shoulders for a community. So I just want to say thank you for stepping up to run, and thank you for wanting to lead in the community. But I want to give you final words, just kind of let folks know any last thing you want to know, and then most importantly, who you are and how they can reach you to learn more about you.
Right. So thank you for the opportunity. It's fun to be here and fun to connect with you again. I think, I want people to know that I'm not a career politician. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, typically, but that I want to do this together. I want this to be something that we figure out together, work on together, serve together in community. And in doing that, helping to prepare the next person up, or leaders in other areas and things. And that's not just something I'm saying. I think if you dig into my background, you will see that that's what I have been doing, who I am, and what I'll continue to do. And obviously need the support of the community. I need votes, I need signatures, I need money. And I don't like asking for that kind of stuff. I mean, that's hard. It's not natural for me to do that. But all those things are real things that I need. And people can find out more about me or reach out to me. Website is reidforaurora.com, and they can learn about some of the key, platform issues that I have, how to get engaged in the campaign, how to get, meeting with me one-on-one, whatever it takes, to help people understand who I am, what we're trying to do. And this is an important election. Sometimes local elections people kind of shrug off as not being a big deal. I think this is a really big deal. And I don't want to mess this up myself. I don't want to do all this work and all this sacrifice and come in second.
Right.
And I really think we can do some good things in the community if we work together and see some of those things and really collectively go after that. This is kind of a crucial moment for our community. We can't miss it.
Well, there you have it, folks. We sat down for about 15 minutes with Reid Hettich. Dig deeper. He just invited you to come learn more about him. This is an opportunity for you to engage in the process. Maybe you haven't voted before. Maybe you haven't voted for a while. At the Urban Leadership Foundation of Colorado, we're hoping these quick conversations spark your interest and encourage you to go look more and make an informed decision for yourself. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you at our next conversation.
Thank you.